Hello, 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 and welcome. If you're watching this live or if you're watching the recording, welcome. So today we have beautiful Belinda Falconar, who is one of our wonderful, actually founding members, aren't you, Belinda?
Yeah,
I think I'm
one of the early ones. Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
early birds.
Founding member.
Yeah. So
Badge of honor.
absolutely. Yeah. So Belinda is a practicing Japanese style acupuncturist, and her business is Aroha Acupuncture on the Kapiti Coast. And she includes lots of other energetic practices such as moxibustion. Is that how you say it, Belinda?
Bastion, yeah, so it's heat therapy basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
And cupping and tuning forks, crystals, and wow,
All sorts of things. I've got lots of tools in my kit.
Lots of tools, and so basically she's a holistic practitioner, so she's working mind, body, and soul, and work mainly with women, don't you, Belinda?
Yes, I do. I do work mainly with women, mainly women probably sort of in their when they get to sort of the perimenopausal, they hit some problems.
Yeah.
and upwards from there. So, many women in their 70s, sometimes I get, women in their 80s or 90s, and the odd man here and there who are lovely to, all the people who come to me are all really, beautiful. So it's like they seem to be specially chosen for me, so it's wonderful.
Like attracting like, actually.
Yeah,
I know. It's so good. Yeah.
And I know your passion is to empower people with knowledge and self-care techniques, so that they can help themselves, don't you?
Absolutely, yes. So that's really, my jam is to see people not to keep coming back and back and back for treatment, but to come and to just get help to that next level and to give them the tools to keep going with, with their improvements. So to me, it's all about transformation. Not just, there will be incremental changes and things, but often people who come for treatment, after a treatment, they just look so different, they feel different, they walk differently, they say, oh my gosh, I feel so much lighter. Amazing, just amazing. And in fact, I've got a really nice testimonial here from one of our Food and Frequencies members.
Cool.
I thought it might be pertinent to just read it out now.
Yeah, please do. Yeah,
it was really nice. So this is someone who's been with Food and Frequencies for the last couple of months and on our challenge.
Yeah.
She says, my time and energy over the past 10 years has been devoted to my growing family. Unfortunately, this came at a cost of my own health and yes, painful inflammation, weight gain, and low vitality, to name just a few. I decided to try something different to help me and booked an appointment with Belinda for acupuncture. Simply put, the session was profound and I will be forever grateful. I experienced a huge energy shift and was able to release some very deep negative emotions. I believe these emotions were keeping me stuck in an unhealthy pattern. Following the session, I had another physical energy shift and then noticed a new desire to prioritize myself and my self-care. Well, thank goodness, because another new opportunity came my way to help me reclaim my health, called Food and Frequencies. So 2 months later, I'm delighted to say that I have dropped 11.6 kgs and my inflammation has gone and my vitality has returned. I do believe that my journey back to health would have taken a lot longer, or possibly may never have happened at all without seeing Belinda. I'm not exaggerating when I say that it has been life-changing and life-saving. Thank you.
That is a great testimony, isn't it?
So that sort of sums up, that's my jam, really. That's, when I see people making those sort of like transformational changes, in their lives, that really,
absolutely kick-started and unlocked. So, I wonder which point it was, you could probably just about pinpoint it, couldn't you? Sometimes.
Well, basically sort of the overall treatment, and it's not just the treatment, it's not just the points used, it's actually the whole synergy, that's established between the client and the practitioner. It's like we work in a dance together, and it's it's really beautiful. So, getting those right clients who are really open to take a new step, to make change, and they're ready. And it's just beautiful when everything just unlocks, and they come out feeling like new. It's really incredible. So
it's like when you're ready, the people will come.
Yeah, that's right. And the opportunities arise, the doors open. Yeah, it is quite amazing. And I know when I first had acupuncture, I was in a bit of a state. I was at sort of midlife crisis. I'd been in the corporate sector and I was burnt out, and just at a point where I probably should have left my marriage, a few years before. And perimenopausal, a needy mother, father had died, not long. It was sort of a lot going on, and so I really needed some help to get me out of a hole. And a friend of mine, her daughter was studying acupuncture at the School of Chinese Medicine in Wellington. So I decided to go. I took myself along to the clinic and said, this sounds interesting. And it was just incredible. She did an incredibly simple treatment on me called the 4 gates. So really just points on here, Hegu, large intestine 4, and liver 3 on the feet. And it just moves the energy all through the body, gets everything moving. And I just felt like connected up to the grid, to the unified field, probably for the first time, like in my life, and I felt my state totally change, from being like contracted and stressed and to feeling like expanded and open and peaceful. And so that was, so even just the simplest treatment can be incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
I was ready.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So then I went on to study, and I thought, I've got to know more about this.
Love that.
It was so exciting, and I was ready to ditch the corporate sector. I'd had enough of them.
So you've described, that what was going on in your life and the fact that you'd been corporate sector. How open were you to natural,
no,
holistic?
really open. Yeah, I've always been really open, and I've been into meditation and been doing some like yoga and being on retreats, and I was opening to this stuff. And yes, I think holistic pulsing. I'd done a weekend on holistic pulsing and things like that. And so I was ripe. I was ripe for new direction. So and a plunging into a whole unknown, really. But it's been an incredible journey.
As actually many of our members are in Food and Frequencies, aren't they? They're definitely open to changing things up and taking, empowering themselves, educating themselves, taking things into their own hands a bit. And so many of them hungry for, latching on to something that really resonates with them, that they can, utilize and create a new career with even. Very exciting.
Yeah, exactly. And so I guess it's been all about like letting go of all the trauma programming, what's getting in the way of our beautiful shining selves, and I mean and that's still an ongoing journey. Even that I'm here with you today is really fantastic. And like it's actually taken me a little bit to come here online and speak. The throat chakra has been so closed down, but I've been doing a lot of work on voice. And Bryony Rogers has been marvelous. And also I have another singing teacher who we do some amazingly interesting things. We don't sing songs, we do toning. And we're actually there the other night, and we were doing different sounds relating to like an image relating to a chakra. We're imagining a dahlia right in our center of our body with gold stamens and gold around it, and it was like incredible. We were sounding and toning particular colors and sounds that we were guided to, and it was just incredible. Like after that I was just like I was connected up. I was it was just incredible, just expanded and oh, amazing. So there's so many different things that we can do to
they really are.
To elevate ourselves, raise our frequency, and break through all whole of that programming and the trauma that we've had that stop us from being our brilliant selves, basically. Yeah. So I'm on that journey, and it's fun and it's wonderful. Yeah, I'm also like quite a collector of different things, health and well-being things. I'm always on the lookout for the next new thing, and connecting people up with it. And I'm a real like butterfly, sort of going from one thing to another, connecting people up with the things that they need. And I love that. Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. And you were describing before that you have this sort of synergistic dance with your clients on the table. Can you talk us a little bit through what a standard, what it would be like to come and experience a session with you? What might happen?
So basically I'm doing I do talk to my clients a lot first of all about where they're at and what their needs are, etc., etc. And I do talk to generally women a lot more than I do men. Don't seem to need or want so much talk, but the women do, and the talk is really important. So the dance actually starts then, and then getting them onto the table. It's I use my hands. I use my hands to touch the body, and I basically do like a body reading for the person, and from the head, the neck, all around the belly, the what we call it, the hara. And the hara is like our power center, basically. Yeah, with encasing all the organs and all the important vessels. So, and I might touch points on people's hands and feet to see what meridians are active and what needs balancing, basically. So, so by touching the body in certain places, I can work out exactly what treatment is needed. So it's quite different. This is a Japanese style that I learned from a teacher called Kiko Matsumoto, a Japanese woman. And quite different from the Chinese style acupuncture, which is more based on like diagnosis, and then you get a set sort of set points that really that address that diagnosis. But the problem that I could never reconcile with is that we're not just one diagnosis, and we're not really a diagnosis, we're a whole being, So it didn't really work for me. And that was more sort of the reductionist type acupuncture, after the Cultural Revolution in China, everything was sort of dumbed down from its spiritual aspect. So so it didn't do it for me. So that's why I looked for other things, and came across this wonderful way of working with people, and reading people's bodies. The treatment evolves itself out of so again it's a synergistic dance. It's a interactive. We're working together. It's not just you lie there and you receive points and the magic happens. I mean, that can happen. The client works with me closely, and then they can go to sleep and relax.
Okay. What do you feel if you're unlocking if you're coming across a meridian's blocked? How do you sense that?
So generally there'll be tension, tightness, pain. There might be swelling. So any of those things are blocking the energy flow. So my whole goal is really to find all the points of tension, tightness, discomfort in the body, and release it with the least number of acupuncture points, and also often with massage as well. Yeah. So yes, it's quite magical. I treat the root as well as the symptoms. So and that's what happens. That's what comes out of this body palpation, body reading, is the root gets treated and the symptoms. And actually, it's like acupuncture points are not sort of static things. They actually move about and they're in different places and different people. So
I didn't realize that.
yeah. So you've actually got to really, so my palpation and touching and feeling skills have got, really good. And I can just, put my finger across the surface of the skin and I can feel where there's discomfort. And yeah, people say, I never knew I had sore bits there and here and there. It's like
amazing.
Yeah, so I can feel what a treatment point feels like. It'll either feel sort of like soggy and empty, or it'll feel like a little bump. Yeah, so again, it's just honing into, and sometimes it just feels like an attraction, to that. So I have used different fingers that that really are great at sensing the points on the different meridians. Yes. Yeah, so it's
so cool.
It's a magical thing, and then basically the client helps me then locate even more specifically, through maybe just even changing the needle like by 1 millimeter, or maybe just a tiny amount, just tweaking it, or actually changing the angle of the needle. Maybe from one that goes with the flow of the channel to one that's perpendicular, can make a difference. So I'm testing, and I'm holding a point, say on the liver point on a person's ankle, and I'm testing and feeling their body to see if it's releasing what I want it to release. And so the person usually says, yes, that's it. They say that I get a very clear indication from them. And sometimes if it's sort of not sure, well, then I'll just move it slightly and then we'll within 1 or 2 times we'll get it absolutely spot on. So it's a matter of releasing the maximum amount of stagnation in the body with the least number of points.
So with a meridian line,
yes,
is the energy flow up and down, or is it specific ways?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Yes. So we have the yang vessels on the like all up and down the back of our body, and the sides of our body are the yang vessels, right? And on the brown side of our skin. So all the white side of our skin and the front of our body is the yin vessels.
Right.
So and it sort of it makes sense that yeah, so basically all the yang vessels come up from the earth.
Right.
That's the opposite. So it's like drawing up earth energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Up the back. And it makes sense if I put my hands up like this and I actually turn around, all the yang vessels you'll see on the back and on the brown side of the skin, right? And then if I've got my arms up again, and so the yin energy comes from the heavens.
Yeah.
And comes down. So yeah, so basically the flow of energy is on the yin is down. Yeah. Yeah. And on the yang is going up. So the flow of the energy in the vessels and the meridians, yeah, makes a big difference. It's how I'm visualizing that because I'm visualizing with my intention where I want the energy to flow, go and flow, so and that in itself is a powerful thing. Really powerful thing, because I mean, masters and stuff, they can actually do treatments, like just using their intention.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Totally, quantumly. I haven't quite got there.
Yeah.
You're on the way though. You got super sensitive fingers, magical fingers,
but also it's a sensing in my body as well. Yeah. So it's a whole body sort of sensing, really. Yeah. So yes, so there's particular ways that we can massage, according to the flow of the vessels, and that's what I teach people how to do. Yeah, a particular type of massage that help that they can feel makes a difference and frees them up basically. And if I do a little workshop, that would be my, doing a small sequence with people that they could do daily to help free up their own chi, blood, lymph. Yeah, so it moves the chi, moves the blood, moves the lymph, and also frees up the nervous system as well and balances the nervous system. So yeah, so it's bringing things to a balance, because I think I used to think that, with health issues and stuff, that there's actually something wrong with me. I've got to fix myself, there's something wrong, and I made myself wrong through that sort of thinking.
Yeah.
But I've come to see that it's actually just a few things out of balance. So it's need to bring them back to a balance. There's nothing wrong, just out of balance.
Yeah.
So that's quite a nice way to look at it.
It's also absolutely a little bit blocked in many respects.
A bit blocked, yeah.
A little bit blocked.
Yeah.
So if you've got a little bit of blockage.
A lot of people too have had, a lot of women especially have had, abdominal surgery of one thing or another. And, think about they've been sliced through all the different layers. And even if it's 20 years ago, there's still locked up stagnation, blocked energy in those scars. And usually, like a C-section goes right across the main yin vessel, so it's like, so definitely, like working on scars can be very productive in terms of like moving chi, moving blood, moving lymph, getting rid of the, moving the adhesions, the stuckness. And, that's when like, the regular abdominal massage, with, castor oil and different things can be really, really helpful in doing castor oil packs on the scars and stuff like that. So, yeah. So that's
I'm looking forward to that workshop.
Yeah,
it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And are you going to take us through a little bit of an introduction today, even sharing a little bit of that?
Oh, a little bit of that. Oh, okay. Well,
no, not the practical.
No.
But what were you going to talk to us about today specifically?
Oh, okay. Well, it was actually like talking about the magic of meridians, and I would say the magic and mystery of the meridians, because there's not really been much sort of evidence, I suppose, or clinical studies. It's not really in researchers' interest.
No.
To who people have got money to do a lot of investigation into this. So it was actually David Schmidt I heard talking on because LifeWave is one of the other things that I've been doing, using the LifeWave page, listening to a lot of the videos by David Schmidt, and I heard him talk about here we are. I heard him talk about, because he's obviously done research into this as well, about meridians being fine threads of collagen with electrolytes attached, conducting infrared energy. He likened it to a fiber optic system, and he was looking at the work of an American guy called Joey Jones back in the 1990s. So really it's a communication system within our body, which is, lightning fast. And that's why, like I can be putting a needle in, somebody's foot or toe, and they're experiencing, release, or, in their upper body, in their neck, or, shoulders, etc., or their headache is disappearing. It just like it's a lightning fast communication system. So so this guy Joey Jones did some studies on using clinical thermography, ultrasound, and he showed that it was like 0.8 the speed that it traveled. They could image the brain to see, once the point was stimulated in the foot to when the activity happened in the brain, that it was like 0.08 of a millisecond traveled to get that signal happening in the body. So it's just incredible to think how quickly, our bodies can change, through, simple stimulation. Like I was talking about, my first treatment of, there were 4 simple points, and it was just like, I was transformed, quite incredible. Because the Meridians, they're part of the 5,000-year-old Chinese medical system, known as superhighways, through which these valuable information travels throughout the body. There's a guy called Kim Bong-hin. He was a North Korean researcher back in the 1960s, and he did some studies on meridians, and he found them as to be thread-like anatomical structures within blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, organs, and under the skin. So he meaning the fascia. And he's saying that these structures carried like DNA containing granules and regenerative substances. They mapped onto traditional acupuncture meridians and formed a distinct vascular system separate from known anatomical systems. So these are super fast communicating systems emanating light and thermal energy. So it's pretty incredible, really.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And there's also the holographic aspect of acupuncture. I mean, there are many different ways to do things. Can I just share a slide?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, back from current slide. Okay, let me just get my technical thing hat on.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I'll get this down pat. There we go. Okay, share. All right. And then slideshow. Here we go. So this is, can you see that?
Yes.
Excellent. So this is showing all the, so if we start at on the right-hand side of the diagram, you've got LU, which means lung, right? 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. So this actually shows like a clock where the energy flows through the different meridians. And so like, for instance, with the lung at 3 to 5 a.m., that's when the most energy is actually flowing through that meridian, right? And yeah, so basically that's how chi moves in the body. So the cycle starts with the lung and goes around the clock and finishes at the liver. So the lung, yeah.
So if you go back to, sorry to interrupt, Linda, but if you go back to the yin yang, so does it alternate?
Yes. So we've got LU for lung there, and the next one next door to it is LI, which is large intestine. So, and the one after it is stomach. So large intestine and stomach are both yang. They're part of the yang ming system.
Right.
And then we go to, then we've got spleen and heart, so 2 yin. And then we go to small intestine and bladder, which 2 yang. And so, and so on. And so, like, for instance, the lung and large intestine are internal and external partners. So they have an incredibly strong relationship with each other. So, doing any work on the lung is going to influence the large intestine, and doing any work on the large intestine is going to affect the lung. So again, there's the partnership relationship. There's also the relationship, because we've got liver and lung together. We've got, the end of the energy cycle and the beginning of the energy cycle together. And, sometimes it's when energy gets stuck between a cycle, that we need to get it moving from liver to lung, or, so often it gets stuck at that point, at the end of that cycle. So that can be incredibly powerful, getting that energy moving there. So, but yeah, so it's quite interesting. You could be, a lot of people wake up at 1 to 3 a.m., liver time is very common for people to be waking up and like feeling really awake and not able to get back to sleep again. And it's often because their livers are really busy, their livers are overloaded. And yes, so I would say if that's happening, you definitely need to do a liver detox.
Yeah. And is it the same for all the others sitting next to each other? So is the liver intrinsically linked to the gallbladder, for example?
Yes. So then we've got liver gallbladder. Yes. Again, it's an internal external relationship there, and they're probably one of the ones that I'm working on the most is actually the liver meridian and the gallbladder. So
it's interesting, they're yin yang, and it's the same like kidney bladder, yin yang too, which is quite fascinating, really. Hey,
so yeah. So there's just so many different relationships, and then you can see too, like if you look at liver, and you go across the line to small intestine, which is, I mean, you don't really want to be up treating people 1 to 3 a.m. in the morning, I mean, and you could do, and that would be really powerful to, treat where the energy is most at that time, treat the liver at between 1 and 3 a.m. But we can actually treat the liver through the small intestine between 1 and 3 p.m. Again, that would be a very powerful thing. So there's just so many different ways and so many different relationships. It's just fascinating. The learning is endless.
So when you book people in, when you book people in at your clinic,
yes,
would you say that people choose a time that's ideal for them, so that energetically they're picking a time that is ideal?
I haven't really actually thought about that too much. Because like one of the treatments I often I'm commonly doing first on people just to get the energy moving is actually the a stomach treatment. So so down the outside of the leg bone, the stomach channel goes down, and also between the bottom of the sternum and our belly button is sort of the area that I touch for the stomach. And often I find that people are really tight in that area between under the sternum to the belly button, very tight, just showing that a lot of people just carry so much tension in their stomachs.
Yeah.
And
understandable, huh?
Yes. And so so releasing, putting just a few very lightly placed needles, down the stomach channel, working down that channel, even just massaging it on a downward and down on a downward motion. And you can often feel the lumps and bumps that are under the skin, especially if someone's tight here, they'll usually have lumps and bumps, so even getting the person just to massage that on a daily basis and a downward action will be really helpful. So that just like really gets people's systems opened up and the energy moving and prepared for the more working more on their core issues, their root treatment. Yeah. And then your root treatment usually takes care of most of the symptoms as well. So
it would do.
Yeah. Knock-on effect, hey?
Yeah, absolutely. So yep, so it's a fascinating thing. So the chi is moving through all these at different times, and so lung at 3 to 5, large intestine 5 to 7 a.m. So that's often when people have a bowel movement. Yep.
Yeah.
And then the stomach channel 7 to 9 a.m. So they're basically saying that's the time that the digestion is actually working the best. So actually that the theory is that to have a good meal at that time is when people's digestive systems are going to be working that well. But in practice, I find that people's digestive systems are really deficient. That's why I'm treating the stomach channel often first. And because people, at that time of day don't feel hungry, because maybe they've eaten too late or etc., etc. So it doesn't seem to be a time where people are hungry at that time. So then
we wonder, how tuned in our meridians are to our circadian rhythms and to time zones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Time zones being a completely man-made thing,
Exactly.
That upset things, yeah.
So then we go from the stomach to the spleen. So then the spleen is taking all the goodies from that the stomach has churned up and made into a nice food essence, and it then transforms it into energy and sends it around the body where it needs to go. So so
that's quite interesting when you look at what we've been talking about in food and frequencies with intermittent fasting then.
Yes it is. And also I'm wondering too the differences for men and for women. Yes, I've been listening to Dr. Stacey Sims, so she's got quite a bit to say about. She says that women are not small men, and that most of the research around diet, intermittent fasting, and everything has been done on older men, and not that appropriate to women. So she's actually saying that women need to have something small, eat something within half an hour of getting up, like protein and fat. And especially if you're going to be working out, have something small, even if it's just a coffee with butter in it, or some protein powder in it. And
that's a very different thing though, isn't it? Butter and protein powder.
Yeah,
very different, because
yes.
protein will stimulate blood sugars, whereas the fat won't.
Yes.
And so having worked with women for over 15 years doing intermittent fasting and having great results. Now, not saying you have to do it for life, but I do think it gives the body time to rest and adjust. And I do think it depends on nutritional levels,
Oh, yeah. And it doesn't work for everybody, but you see a lot of people getting benefits from it, and I certainly did. Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Again, I think she's sort of saying too that working with our circadian rhythms, that women could actually, have 2 meals earlier in the day and then, like fast,
the rest of the time.
The rest of the time. Yeah.
I think a reason a lot of people don't do that is because of habit and family.
Yes, it's not very convenient, is it? Yes, it's not very social.
Yeah. No. So it's a very interesting, isn't it?
It is all very interesting, isn't it?
We need to just change the way society works, don't we, Belinda, really? So that it actually works with our physical bodies and our emotional bodies, so that we can really bring about healing. And so this is really interesting. So
so then we go to the evening. Excuse me. You've got like 7 to 9 p.m. is the pericardium, and the pericardium is the heart protector. And so that's when the time when we might be, like best, like talking to our loved one, and having a chin wag about how the day has gone, and et cetera, having some intimacy.
Heart to heart,
heart to heart, whatever. And so no, it's all very fascinating.
It is very.
And what's SJ?
SJ is Sanjiao. It's also called the triple warmer meridian, triple warmer. So and again, that's closely because it's based on the theory that we've got 3 warmers. We've got one in the sort of the sacral below the belly button, and we've got the one above the belly button, and we've got the warmer up here. So the lower one is like the drainage ditch. The middle one is the rice pot, cooking up all the food and then distributing the essence throughout the body. The steam rises up and then nourishes the lungs and the heart and etc. So it's that's the triple warmer. So the triple warmer is a very sort of a connecting, and also I think has quite an effect on connective tissue. Yeah. So it all has a great effect on fascia, because when we're putting a needle in, the fascia is actually sort of like, doing a little hug around the needle, and it's like, yes, it sort of helps that whole process. Yeah.
So where's the governor vessel here?
So the governor vessel, is not here. This is all the meridians relating to organs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's not figured into this this clock, if you were. Yeah, yeah. So the governor vessel, also known as the Dumai, and the other is the Renmai, the yin vessel. Yeah. So yeah, meridians often known as vessels or channels, etc. That's all the same word, basically. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, that is really fascinating. Yeah. So I can probably stop sharing that.
Okay, so what advice have you got for our community?
Yes.
As in navigating their health during this
time.
Wonderful world.
It's like these.
Times like these, yeah.
There's
Yeah, I mean, I guess like practices that expand us and open us out, like doing the breathing, maybe Wim Hof type breathing or something like that. It's, wonderful. You can, again, feeling the energy all moving around your body and connecting you up, putting you into a different state, connecting ourselves into the quantum field, into the web of consciousness, because we've got the web going on inside us, but mostly we're very disconnected. So as much as we can connect ourselves up again, like being in nature helps to connect us up again, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, having different treatments and stuff help us with that as well. Doing the self-care massage is very much helping us connect ourselves up with ourselves. And so yeah, we're going to be looking at that maybe next time. I would say I'm really big on cold, like on the temperature of our food and our drinks,
Okay.
Again, this whole thing about cold plunging as well. Because actually I had a couple older women staying with me in the weekend, and they're both avid cold plungers, and one of them was actually, sort of going on about how she was going into like ice baths that were like 4 degrees or something like that. And she got up to 7 minutes and
Wow.
But actually, these women are like really, it might give a really good, make you feel like really exhilarated at the time, like give you some good energy and move the energy around at the time. But over time, it's actually going to be reducing your, your battery. I think of like the little kidneys, like it's our foundational energy, like our batteries in our body, and so basically we're further depleting our bank account, of our energy source. So yeah,
I think there is a proviso.
These women were both like very cold in their bodies, feeling the cold, and like one of them had like a real shoulder problem where it's like cold stuck in the channels. It can get stuck in the channels, like really easily.
Yeah. So I think
Stacey Sims too talks about, again, women are not small men, and with the cold, all the research has been done on men, and men are like yin and yang. We're totally different.
What might work for women might not work for women.
Yeah, exactly.
I would also say that the cold, the research I've seen is the cold are all well and good if you're healthy. And if you have reserves, so if you're if you have a propensity to being stressed and adrenally low, it's not a good idea.
Don't push yourself.
No. Well, she says, like, if you want to do it, don't go any cold. For women, don't go any colder than 15 to 16 degrees.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because the real cold is too much of a shock to the body. Yeah. So, and like most, there wouldn't, I mean, most people are quite deficient in their energy and their chi anyway. A lot of women that I see, it's hard to find a woman that's really, full of energy, and they've got they've looked after themselves really well. And I mean, most people have been working on the old paradigm where they've been pushing themselves really hard, and then wearing down their batteries, and they're working in deficit, they're pulling money out from their bank account basically. So yeah, cold contracts, and cold slows down the flow of blood.
Yeah.
So, and people are putting cold in often. I mean, probably not many people from from Food and Frequencies, but there's a whole fad about using doing smoothies and having frozen fruit and stuff like that. So, just anyone out there who listens to this, I would just say, if they do that, just bring it to room temperature. Put some boiling water on it. Bring it to room temperature so that you're not actually putting ice in your body. Yeah. So one of these women who was staying with me, she had this shoulder issue. And she said to me, before I'd mentioned anything about the cold and what it was doing, she said, it feels like there's a sliver of, like a
icicle.
An icicle like in my shoulder. That's what she described. So often people will tell you what's wrong, in their own language. So it's very important to listen to what people say. It's incredible. Yeah. So so connecting up with the grid, with our unified field, avoiding cold, and I would say something that I've been sort of thinking about quite a bit, and like Natalie Cutler-Welsh talked about it as well. Getting this whole thing, we've been harnessed up with these, these bras, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
And it is like a harness.
And before that, the corsets.
Yeah.
And the number of women that I see, because they're lying on the table, they turn over and I undo their bra. How many women I see who they've got it so tight. They've got it so tight. And so it's like restricting our energy flow, our lymph flow. So we want to encourage anything that's going to help, that's not going to impinge on our flow of chi and blood and lymph. And also, again, the natural fibers, because again, they've all got frequencies.
Yeah.
And this is something I woke up to, but like I knew this, but hearing Natalie, sometimes just hearing someone else talk about it, and just thinking, what's impeding the flow of my energy. And so I had these bras, which were, they're, normal sort of bra with the underwire thing in it. And again, the wire it's like it's an interference of energy flow,
electrical,
any metal. I've even taken my earrings out. Yeah. And actually I feel really comfortable with it.
Yeah, I remember reading something about earrings many years ago, which is why I don't,
because this relates to your eyes, this area, again, the holographic nature of the acupuncture systems, like the ear is a whole microsystem for the whole body. And so where we've got holes pierced is relates to our eyes. I've got glasses, haven't I?
Yeah.
So it's a lot to think about. So what am I doing to reduce my energy in terms of things that I'm coming into contact with? And again, all toxic stuff, all the stuff that you've been teaching people to. So again, magnesium, I've always been a magnesium queen as well, because magnesium works on our electrical body, and and helps to move our chi, and what moves the chi moves the blood.
Yeah, it's vital.
Blood moves the lymph. So if we can get that magnesium on our bodies really frequently, is put it on the toilet system. So every time you go in there, spray some on your legs and your glutes, and
like me, Belinda, we could probably talk for hours about magnesium.
We could.
Because it's so vital that people really do forget. They think it's just cramps, and it's so much more than that.
Yeah, maybe you could do a combined.
Maybe we should do a workshop on it, Belinda.
Together.
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah. And again, like salt soul has been like a life-changing thing as well. Like I was having salt soul, but I wasn't having enough.
Yeah.
Now that I'm having enough, you know, I'm actually feeling more coherent and my bowels are working better, you know, so.
Really makes a big difference, doesn't it?
It makes a, you know, so that's what I like to, you know, things that, you know, simple things can make a really big difference. That's what I'm into promoting to my clients, basically.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
And so for personal level, Belinda,
yes.
If you were to truly thrive in 2025, what will you?
You're a poet.
What will you be? Well, you know what? Just for the record, I just want to say that I coined that phrase before Tony Robbins did and Dean Grazioni with their. Just haven't released it yet, but yeah, if you were to truly thrive in 2025, what will you be doing more of?
Well, using my voice.
Yeah, I think you did touch on. I thought it's probably the worst.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, whether it's, you know, doing a bit more of what we're doing here, or you know, like Deb and I were at a LifeWave. We were doing a LifeWave presentation at the Kapiti
Wellbeing Fair.
Wellbeing Fair last Sunday, and which was great. Thanks for your help, Deb.
Yeah, no, it was good. It's really lovely.
And again, that's great practice. So, you know, with the throat chakra being a bit inhibited and a bit shy, it's really good to get my voice out there.
And you were incredible, actually, because someone was saying we can't really hear you too well. And you said, or someone said, oh, should we sing or something? And you did. You broke into song. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Well, actually,
go Belinda.
Yeah, because Natalie was actually, she burst into song on her interview, and she, because we'd both been to see Lee Harris up in Auckland, and again the mantra was, you know, I release any energies and emotions that are not mine. And I was finding myself with a client the other day, and actually I burst into song with that, and it was like
that one. Yeah,
it was really cool when they were relaxing. It was like, yeah, because again, it's healing me, and it's helping, you know, helping them and their frequencies as well. So yeah, it was really cool. So that's my answer to that.
Okay, so what's coming up for you, and how can people connect with you?
Right. Well, I don't have any like events or anything like that planned. I have done like self-care women's healing circles before, like physically here in Kapiti, and that could come up again, or like little day sort of mini retreat or something like that. I do. So for the people who are not in Kapiti, who can't come and see me, I do have on my booking service, I have a booking option for an online session. So yeah, so yeah, basically do the similar sort of talk to what I would normally do with people, and come up with tools to help them, you know, show them things that they can do, like the self-care massage, or points that they can use, and do acupressure. You know, often get them to get like a chopstick, and you know, we do chopstick
cool
acupuncture. Yeah, so it's just easier to.
Well, you're going to share that in our workshop.
I can do that.
That'd be so good.
Also, there's rolling pin massage, chopstick acupuncture, rolling pin massage.
Oh, sounds fun.
That sounds great too.
Yeah. So
how much can we cram into a workshop, or maybe two?
We'll keep it simple. Yeah,
but next week in the workshop, what are you going to be covering? Of the massage, the self massage.
Yes, I'll be going through a little routine, massage routine. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away, because but people will feel a difference. They'll feel a difference in their body from having touched certain points. And again, like a huge amount of it is about putting our healing and loving energy and using it for ourselves. You know, it's we often, you know, and using it like sort of like a loving meditation for ourselves. You know, it's just like so much we're giving away our energy and our attention to everything else. It's just
being our own practitioner.
Yeah, have a lovely sort of sacred time, just doing a few little things for yourself that bring you back into your being. My being.
Oh, so cool. Sounds wonderful. Sounds like what I need
right now.
Right.
Anyway, so
more of in general, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. And what's your website again? Just let us know and we'll pop it.
www.aroha-acupuncture.co.nz, but probably if you just Google acupuncture or Aroha Acupuncture, you'll find me.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, cool.
I love how the sunbeams are coming in right now. You're looking
awesome.
Yeah, radiant.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyone who's not a member and would love to come and experience this workshop, then why not come and experience Food and Frequencies Network while you're at it and come and join us. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that next week. And yeah, so before we wrap up, Belinda, is there anything else that you want to share with us?
Not really. It's probably just like, you know, put your loving attention on yourself, you know, we've got these amazing tools, you know, that we can use. So much energy comes through our fingers, and we can just putting it on our bodies and just feeling into ourselves and our breathing and just becoming present. It's just like, it's gold.
Yeah, how often do we really do?
Yeah. Often
just
enough.
Don't do we? No.
Just putting it on our heart and just feeling
brilliant.
Feeling the beating of our heart and our breathing, and you know, just and just feeling the energy from our hands, you know, and going into our body. And even if you can just do a little, let's just finish off doing a little rub your hands. Get the energy up in your hands, and then place it over your heart. Place your hands over your chest and just feel the warmth and the buzzing. Breathe it in, that gorgeous universal energy that we're all part of, connected to.
Wow. What a perfect way to finish this magical time together.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Belinda. We really appreciate you spending time with us.
Thank you.
Look forward to next week's
and we so appreciate your involvement in our network as well.
Lovely. Thank you so much. No, it's been wonderful. I've loved being part of it as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
We'll see you in the workshop.
Yeah, I better be there. Okay.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you.